This break is brought to you by Netflix. For a free 30-day trial, head over to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV. Now, if you've been an avid follower of Gamebreaker over the past year, it's kind of possible that you might have heard a few whispers here and there about a little title known as DayZ, the Arma 2 mod that has taken the community by storm and is set to be released as a standalone game sometime in the near future. However, news has been fairly scarce from the DayZ camp in the past few weeks. So here to fill us in on just exactly what they've been up to with the standalone is James McGretton. So James, what can you tell us in regards to any kind of update on the game?
So yeah, things have been a little quiet over the past few weeks as everyone's kind of gathered. There's been literally barely any information coming out of the DayZ camp on the standalone. Just to fill people in, we know that in August last year, creator Dean Hall was talking about a Christmas 2012 release. Fast forward to today, and you might have figured that we're past that date, the milestone's gone. Gamers that haven't been following religiously will be more than happy to know that this is it wasn't out of the blue. This was actually their plan all along. The dev team have actually addressed the issue, stating that they were going to let the date slip, and basically so they could make the game better. They're wanting to change the engine. What people might be interested in knowing is that on January 26th, so this Friday just gone, Hull did finally break his development silence and gave us a ton of information on the game's progress.
Oh, that sounds exciting. So with this update that he's made on last Friday, is there anything new to learn about on the progress side of things?
So not everything in the post is entirely new. There are a few new things in there, but mainly he's been talking about the architecture switching to be more like an MMO style, which we've known since about November last year. Um, Visual effects, obviously, a new game. It's going to have huge visual updates. He's been going to things like that. But first up, Hull wants to emphasize that the DayZ
Yeah, one of the two.
standalone.
Let's stick with Zed.
We'll stick with Z. That's cool. It's not simply a rehash of the mod. For the past few months, they've truly gone to town, breaking the Arma's engine's will, just because. They're wanting to make the game their own. They're wanting to change everything about the game. So gamers shouldn't expect it to feel like the same game they've been playing on the mod. Um, Not really hard to believe, really. Um, Next, advanced character customization is in. Fans of DayZ will already know that there are limited customizations in the games that, like your normal changing your sex, ethnicity, but they're wanting to go to town on this with the standalone. So some of the examples in the blog given are tattoos, scars, things that really help you put your mark on the character to make it your own. Another cool thing along the same lines is they've been talking about a system that makes changes to your character based on things you do. So context sensitive changes. It's only briefly mentioned in the blog, but what I'd like to know myself is, are we going to see something like Fable or the Mass Effect's morality system? So changes made on what you eat, kill, that kind of thing. The next point raised is the inventory system, however you want to pronounce it, depending what side of the world you're from. The overhaul was talked about in the last development blog, but this time they're going into a bit more detail on things like clothing. So clothing is going to get attributes like resilience, which will work similar to like an RPG. So my brain at this point is saying you'll be running around picking up clothing that allows you to take less damage from glancing shots from people trying to take you down, steal your stuff, less damage from zombie attacks, giving you the chance to get the hell out of there with that 1 HP that's ever so vital. And then finally, Hull confirmed that we're all at what we've basically all been speculating is the game is in closed beta. Um, don't go jumping up going, oh my God, where do I sign up? He has said that it's internal, but the main plans are to expand this outside of their development team as soon as the architecture is completed. And invites are most likely going to start with like streamers and then go out further from there.
Fantastic. So there's a ton of stuff there, huge amounts of changes to the character customization, to the engine, to the graphic. It's really exciting stuff for DayZ fans or DayZ fans. But with this in mind, do we have any news or any idea on a release date?
The world is going to hate me when I say sadly no.
Oh.
Whole and the team have basically they've been keeping it fairly tight-lipped. They've given us the standard PR statement of more or less stating that it'll be ready when it'll be ready. So no surprises there. but even though it doesn't tell us much, talks of the closed beta are promising, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the game turning up around May or June, which, if people have been paying attention to our last sort of news stories on this is more or less falling into the time frame of what was last hinted in, I think, December.
Okay, so there's some potential there. We're not just picking numbers out of the air here, guys. We have actually got some kind of vague backup for our theory on release dates. So let's see how close we get. Do keep an eye on us. We will be bringing you as much more DayZ or DayZ news as it breaks here at Gamebreaker. Thank you so much for filling us in on all of those changes, James. It sounds really exciting. And as ever, guys, do keep it locked and dialed to Gamebreaker TV for all your gaming needs.